Occupy LA, and I wanted to check out for myself what was going on down there. And I took some pictures and some video for you guys, and I came up with an idea that I rather like, and I wanted to share with you. First of all, let me show you some of the pictures that we got there, and describe the scene. So there's people in tents, as you can see there, and they do different gatherings and different, like, almost like seminars within themselves to talk about the different issues, whether it's foreclosures or whatever else they might be interested in. And they're there for the long haul. You know, it was 4 days since the Occupy LA began when I went yesterday, and now it's on day 5, obviously, and a lot of those people are staying right there, staying put. Now, one of the guys I spoke to was very smart, and he said, look, I don't want to discourage people from coming. You don't have to stay the whole time. You just come and do as much as you can, which makes sense. Now, this was their schedule. Now, this is interesting in a lot of ways, and here's what Erin Burnett would do with it. She would laugh and snicker because, as you see there's breakfast, that's fine, and then you got a general assembly where they're all going to get together, and then open mic, that makes sense, and then justice for janitors. Instantly the snickering would begin. Oh, janitors, oh, justice for them. What do they have to do with this? Yeah, look, you know what? Janitors work for a living, and so these guys are concerned about them. Fantastic. But then when you get to the afternoon schedule, the snickering would be out of control. A class on hemp. That's it. That's where the rest of the media would flip out and they'd end this whole thing. Hemp, what does this do with the hemp? Hemp alert, oh my God. Okay, well, let me tell you something, okay? Those kids, and I looked at it and I thought, hey, what does hemp have to do with the banking, et cetera, et cetera? Then I looked around and I was like, hey, if that's what they're concerned about, and one of the things that they think is wrong is the making drugs illegal, the prohibition of drugs, which then leads to so many people being locked up, okay, then that's one of their concerns. Look, when Obama's administration asked, what are your top questions? That question always is number one. So instead of like dismissing it, can we for a second look and go, hey, maybe a lot of people care about this. And then people say, oh, they're young. Okay, so a lot of young people care about it. So why should that be dismissed? So I wouldn't have put it on the board. That wouldn't be something I would do as part of this gathering. But they put it on the board, and then I thought, why not? Go for it. Besides which, they're there for already at that point for 4 days. And the next day it might be justice for teachers instead of janitors, and instead of hemp, it might be the foreclosure crisis. In fact, let's look at the schedule again, and I want to show you other things. If you look further down, you're going to see yoga class, where that's it. I mean, they would have, mainstream media would have lost it in their pants in a fit of laughter. Yoga, which, by the way, you know who does yoga? Middle-class women do, okay, among many others. But then look at this. There's a discussion on constitutional law and corporate policy. When's the last time that happened at a major media organization? When somebody said, hey, you know what, let's get together and discuss constitutional law as it relates to corporate policy. Never, okay? So if you're having that discussion, which is smart and absolutely necessary, and at the same time you're having a discussion about hemp and justice for janitors, I think it's an awesome day. I mean, and by the way, only a million times more intellectual than anything I've ever seen at any media organization. And so they're there and they're like, while we're here, let's try to figure out how to solve these things. I love it. And then, well, they're also angry. Look, let's show you a couple more pictures. So, and some of them, we're all calm as they're talking to me, don't get me wrong. And it's a nice sign, God bless. But I like the shirt at the end. Let's go to that. Okay, and then these guys are getting together, and some of them have the anonymous mask. And again, they were talking about sharing ideas. And then this gentleman summed up the movement in one simple sentence. Unfuck the world. Okay? And that about does it. Okay? And they're going to do that through all the different things, whether it's constitutional law and corporate world, whether it's justice for janitors, et cetera, et cetera. The mission is unfuck the world. Honestly, it's
100 peaceful protesters on the Brooklyn Bridge that took place. I know you've been very outspoken about it.
That and the police brutality. I think that very much when it hit the internet became viral because you saw a bunch of defenseless people that were simply expressing their freedom to speak their mind in a public place. Then they were penned off, then they were sprayed down. They were obviously not in danger of harming any police officers. And then all of a sudden you see white shirts coming out more and more often and seemingly unable to be held responsible for anything that they do, almost as if they're above the law. And that is very exemplary of exactly what has continued to fuel the fire here at this protest. The fact that people that are on Wall Street, people that are in government, are refusing, or I should say, not say all of them, but a lot of them are refusing to acknowledge their responsibility and what caused all of this. You know, this.
Unemployed mother, and I'm here because I do not want my 5-year-old son living in a government that is controlled by a few elites, and I don't think that he should have to pay off debts of the government themselves. And that's why I'm here at Occupy Atlanta.
I'm here with Atlanta.
I want to bring in Senator Bernie Sanders now, an independent from Vermont, who joins us live from Burlington. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You have a new op-ed in The Guardian Online, and you write, the truth is that millions of Americans lost their jobs, their homes and their life savings because of the greed, recklessness and illegal behavior of Wall Street. Yet while millions of Americans, as you say, have lost their jobs and their homes, these self-same banks were bailed out by the taxpayers and they're about to start paying themselves massive year-end bonuses. How have they got away with it?
Okay.
Well, that is the $64 question, and I think that is what these demonstrations around the country are about, and that is what the anger of the American people is about. Bail these guys out, they caused the recessions, millions of people lose their jobs, and now these guys are doing better than they ever did before. And the answer to your question is, the simple reality is, Wall Street is the most powerful economic and political entity in the country. They have unlimited resources. They buy and sell politicians, and they have been able to protect their own interests and their own well-being.
And you know that every single time there's a Republican presidential debate, it is almost like a harmonious chorus from every single individual candidate saying what we need are fewer taxes and fewer regulations. Cut back on the regulations. That's what they keep telling us. And yet I thought that one of the reasons why we had the catastrophic circumstances of 2008 was principally because there were no regulations. Nobody was regulating the derivatives market.
Well, Martin, of course, you're absolutely right. Wall Street spent, if you can believe this, $5 billion over a 10-year period through lobbying and campaign contributions in order to get to the deregulation so that they could end up doing whatever they wanted to do. They did whatever they wanted to do. They put worthless products out onto the marketplace. They created a Ponzi scheme. The bubble burst, and we are in the terrible recession.
Unemployed mother, and I'm here because I do not want my 5-year-old son living in a government that is controlled by a few elites, and I don't think that he should have to pay off debts of the government themselves. And that's why I'm here at Occupy Atlanta.
I'm here with Atlanta.